Come along for a ride with me today in my Cherokee 235, along with my friend Tyler. We'll work on leaning with the JPI 830 engine monitor and talk about how you can still use VORs today for lost procedures and navigation. Come along for the ride.
All right, welcome back to the airplane. My buddy Tyler. We are going out today, quick flight. We're just going to go up, kind of demonstrate the leaning process with this new JPI engine monitor that's been in the plane, and then we're going to do a little work with VORs. Give a couple examples of how you can use VORs in your navigation. It's far less normal these days with everybody having all the cool tools, but still a really valuable resource for the ones that are left to just know how to use them if you've got them in your airplane. Fairmont traffic, Cherokee 152 is taking runway 5. Going to be making a left downwind departure southwest bound. Fairmont traffic.
All right, airspeed's alive.
And we want to be about 78 knots. Clarksburg approach, good morning, Cherokee 15152 with a VFR request.
Cherokee 15152, Clarksburg approach, Clarksburg altimeter 3013.
13 and 152 is a P-28 Bravo slant Golf just west of Fairmont Airport. We'd like flight following. We're just going to stay west of your Delta, fly westbound for a bit at 4,500 before turning back to Fairmont.
November 152, have your request, stand by.
All right, so you've done all the things. Let me just check a cruise checklist, which you probably just did. Power,
RV,
prop mixture, fuel pump is off, landing light is off, then we got our flight instruments. So here's how I would do leaning. You want me to take over and then I'll talk you through the leaning, or do you want to fly?
Yeah, your airplane.
All right, my flight controls.
Your flight controls.
You got to pre-lean first. So you got to, I pull the mixture back until I start to see
November 6 Echo Sierra Squawk
the
7430.
CHTs start to trickle up, or the EGTs, the blue indicators. Okay, so like pull it back some, it'll be a fair amount. Okay, see I'm starting to climb. You can come even a little bit more maybe, just so they're all moving up. And then we let it sit here for about a minute, and so it kind of stabilizes at this.
November 6 Echo Sierra radar.
He also
contact,
never radar gave us radar
5 miles
contact.
north of Elkins Airport, altitude 6,500.
6,500 is
I'm going to turn a little bit south. Approach Cherokee 152, are we radar contact?
November 152, AFIRM radar contact, 10 miles northwest of Clarksburg Airport, altitude 4,500.
Position altitude checks for 152. All right, good. I just want to make sure he had us and was watching us, you know? Okay, so this is fun. So at this point, we've kind of stabilized, the engine's stabilized here, so we can do the lean find now. So in a minute, we're going to push the lean find button, the LF button, and it's going to enter a different mode. And so instead of showing us the CHT and EGT for one cylinder, it's going to switch. I'll show you what it shows us. And once this bottom display switches, we'll start pulling back the mixture slowly, and we'll see EGT start to trickle up, and it'll show us our fuel flow on this side, and it'll be decreasing. And it will detect when one of the cylinders reaches its leanest point, and it'll flash and say leanest. And then this display is going to change again, and it's going to show you a delta number that is like how far from peak EGT you are.
5,000 during
and then be enriching back until that gets back to 0. And that'll be the peakest of the hottest cylinder. That'll be peak EGT of the hottest cylinder. And I leave it there. Because the assumption is all the other 5 cylinders are
just going
under
to the VOR
peak,
and then to
right?
Clarksburg.
So,
VOR, then Clarksburg.
yeah, and then all I do is watch the CHTs of the green numbers. If any of them get to 380, I just enrich in a little bit.
Okay. We'll just do the visual for 2-1 for
Hit the lean, find the LF button, and be ready to start leaning. I'll tell you when. It'll flip down here.
Advise, and ready to go
Okay, now
back
you
to
can
Clarksburg.
just real slowly start pulling. You'll see this number start climbing. Just keep pulling, nice and slow. That's good. If it's trickling like a few degrees per second, you're good. So just keep on pulling, and eventually, there, it's already found the leanest cylinder. And now, if you hit the peak button up here, now this one's 25 degrees lean of peak. So start pushing in a little bit now on the mixture until this number gets closer to 0 again. So it should start getting smaller. That's probably too fast, so just hold it right there for a second. Let it stabilize. So now it's equal to, it's at peak EGT of cylinder number 2. And at this point, I would leave it here.
Okay.
I would hit exit, and then we're burning 12.1 gallons an hour. And as long as all of these cylinders, the green numbers, stay under 380, we're good. If we need to enrich in a little bit to keep them cool again, we'll just enrich in a little bit more.
So 5's pretty close.
Yep. I mean, 380s are number. 400 is what like Cummings says. I don't like to run it that hot. So yeah, maybe we could be, and 12 gallons an hour is pretty good at 4,500 feet. So you could probably give it a little bit more fuel because we are climbing over 381 now. Let's try it in there somewhere and see. That's literally it. And you can do that multiple times. So if you change altitudes again and you enrich into climb,
Just hit the lean
find again.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do as many times as you want in flight.
That's really nice.
Oh man. I tell people all the time and they laugh at me, this has become my favorite instrument in the plane, I think.
Yeah.
That's really all there is to it.
All right, cool.
You good with that?
Yeah, that's
Cool.
good.
Do you want to fly? And we'll talk about
my
we'll talk about your airplane. We'll talk about VORs. I've had a lot of requests to talk about VOR, and not a lot of people use it anymore because why? But it's still a tremendously helpful tool. And so I'm going to give you 2 examples of how you could use it if you had lost your GPS or you didn't have VORflight available or whatever. And let's say I roughly knew where I was, but I didn't know exactly where I was. I knew some region of where I was. I could look at my chart and say, well, I see a VOR over near Parkersburg called JPU, and its frequency is 114.45. So I would come up to pick a nav radio, I would come up to here and I would dial in 114.45, and if I was a good pilot, I would then, I would confirm that that's it by listening to it, listening for the Morse code indicator.
There, the ID showed up.
There it is. That is Parkersburg VOR. So we have identified it by audio. And you see the CDI, is that what it's called? My OBS, deflected fully to the right. So if I was like, I'm not exactly sure where I am at this point, what I would do typically would be start spinning the OBS knob until I get a 2 indicator and until this needle centers. If I wanted to fly directly towards that VOR right now, I'd fly a heading of 285 or so. So maybe we do that. Let's try to turn to like 285, start a right-hand turn. So what I don't know, my plane fortunately has distance measuring equipment, so I know I'm 43 miles from it. So some planes don't have a DME associated with this, but in any case, you could fly towards this VOR and then start looking out your window, look at what radio you're on your chart, draw a line from that on the 285 radial, and then I guess more like the 290 radial now, and then start looking for landmarks that are under that radial. You could help identify your location
Departure really straight,
that way.
9943, you're ready to head back, get for the visual to them.
Our plane has 2 VORs. I'm not going to show this today, but I could get even fancier with triangulation. Part of the problem is we don't have a bunch of VORs around here that work, but if I do a second VOR, I could also tune it in my second radio, get them both lined up, and get an idea of where those 2 radials intersect, one off of like one VOR and one from the other, and give myself an exact location on the chart of where they intersect. I'm going to also take this opportunity to do a VOR check because this plane is due for one as well. So to do that, I'm going to tune the second radio
Maintain 3,500, we have Oscar.
to the same frequency, put it in VLOC mode, and I'm going to make both of these needles line up perfectly. It's a little touchy because we're reasonably close to this VOR. When these are lined up perfectly, they should be within a couple degrees of each other on the, and you can see from the indicator, I mean, they're dead on.
Oh yeah.
So these VORs are both valid.
Clarksburg Airport, 12 o'clock in
Okay.
1.
So that's one check we can do. The next would be, how could you use a VOR to get you back to where you want it to go, or to the airport we want to go back to? Even though Fairmont Airport doesn't have a VOR nearby, we know Parkersburg is working. So what you can do on your chart, and this can be a little sketcy because I got to try to do this with it way zoomed out, but I could draw a straight line from the VOR to the Fairmont Airport, and it says
9 Clarksburg departure, radar contact
97 degrees magnetic
maintain 6
from the VOR. So here's a cool trick. So if I spin the CDI now to 97, the flag will flip to from. Now's when I have to think about it. And the needle deflects to the full left. So we want to get to that radial somehow. And because we're in the from pattern and it is to the left, we need to be turning right to get to it. So at this point, I would say we should turn like a complete 90-degree turn to the right until we see that needle start to move in. Now you can cheat if you're looking at my ForeFlight screen right now on the video, because I'm also watching where the plane is going, but you'll see this will actually be a really cool indication. I'm going to leave this ruler up on my screen so that as we start to get nearer to the VOR, this needle will start to come in. As it does, Tyler will keep turning to the 97-degree radial once we intercept it, to 97 degrees on his heading. And that will be putting us directly back in line to Fairmont. And we did all that. We wouldn't need any other instruments in the plane except that one VOR to find our way back to and a map. It could be paper or electric chart.
5,000, go direct Diggy, we'll do it, exit 5.
See, it's coming in slowly, and now we've got a good pace on how slow it's coming in. So we don't even need to think about turning in until it's pretty much centered.
Right.
So I'd say we're 3/4 of a dot from intercepting, and then if we follow that, center that and follow it, we will literally fly directly to Fairmont. Fairmont, Cherokee 152 is turning a base, runway 23, Fairmont.
Fairmont, 52, miss on short 23, Fairmont.
Final is clear. Fairmont, Cherokee 152 is turning final, 23, Fairmont.
How's it looking to you?
Fine.
A little high?
Yeah, but this thing, you know, it doesn't take much to get it down, so you're fine.
1 mile final runway 23.
See what I mean?
Alright, mixture, prop, fuel pump, fuel.
That's how you do it.
Beautiful landing.
Very nice. Fairmont traffic, Cherokee 152 is clear, runway 523, Fairmont. Well, thanks for riding along, YouTube. It's been a long time. It's my first video in forever, and it's good to be back. Nice to go flying with a friend for the first time in a long time.
It worked out today.
It was a perfect day for it.
Just landed. Are you coming for fuel?
Hey, firm 152.
Out your way.
Thank you.